Welcome everyone to the Web3 Travel Conference 2023. It's the second time we are doing a conference like that. Okay, so that's how I start this conference. That's how I'm going to start this conference for a few years until mainstream comes. Who knows what this picture is? You know, right, Mike? Who is that?
I forget his name, but there was Andreas was.
Go ahead. Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yeah, right? He was doing the conference, and Bitcoin was probably like in a single digit at the time, and he only had like a dozen people. Right.
Yeah, this is Andreas Antonopoulos. He's one of the best educators in the Bitcoin space and blockchain space in general, still today. He was doing a conference in a setup with other conferences, and his room was like there were 4 people or something, right? And Bitcoin was at $129, right? So this room is not full of people as we were expecting. It's early, okay? It doesn't mean that the Web3 and travel industry will grow like Bitcoin. I think so. But it means that this is the moment of opportunity. This is the moment of the few people who see something beyond the obvious, right? So in a way, this is a it's like a pre-selected. You pre-selected yourself by doing the extra step of trying to understand what's going to come in the travel industry when it's not easy, when it's not obvious, right? Okay, so I'm not going to give for granted that all of you know exactly what Web3 is. My first presentation here is going to be a very basic introduction of the very basic facts about what is Web3. Why are we even talking about these things, right? So let's go back a little bit and do a short history of the web. So the first web, we call it now Web 1, and it was an internet where most people were reading. People were going online and read stuff, right? It was really hard to write, to publish something online. Then the Web 2 era, the one we are still in now, is the era when people found a way to publish stuff. You know, we had WordPress, then we had Facebook, then we had all the social media. It became very, very easy to write, and that completely changed how the web works, right? And the Web3 is a bit hard to understand. Like in Web 1, when you will tell people one day you're going to write stuff online, people will go like, why should I write stuff online? It's obvious now. It wasn't obvious at the time. And now what we say is that in Web3, you're going to own stuff online. What does it mean, own stuff online? We do own stuff online already, right? And actually, we own almost nothing today in Web 2, because if you think about the things that you have in your accounts, in your laptop, in your smartphone, what do you actually own? Do you own your Google account, your Airbnb account? Do you own your Instagram followers? Well, we don't own much, right? The only thing I can say we own are domain names, because you buy them, it's certified, domain name belongs to me, but everything else is kind of, we have it as long as the corporation behind it is okay with it, as you know, Russians discovered lately with all these accounts closed. Web3 brings new technology which allows us to know that we actually own those digital assets without needing to kind of hope that a counterparty, a platform, is happy about that. We're going to own them anyway. So that changes everything again, because we go from a situation in which we work on somebody else's land to a place where the land is ours now. It's like going from feudal Europe to the new Americas, where there was a rule of law instead of kings. But now I have to stop, because if I go ahead with this, I'm going to bring you the whole digital neo-feudalist thing, which is complicated and is also a bit ideological. But yeah, Web3 is where we own stuff. And in travel, it means we're going to own our accounts, we're going to own our listings, we're going to own our reviews, et cetera, et cetera. Completely changes the power dynamic between the people who work in the industry, the guests, and and the websites, the platforms, right? That's one thing. In terms of people, in terms of who is the main character in this different webs, Web 1 was the individuals, personal pages. The first programming language for the web was PHP, which was personal homepage. So in Web 1, one person would do a little page and was online, and people would read it. That was it. Very little money involved, no investments, right? So individuals. It was a very fun time for those of you who were there. It was a very exciting time. But then things changed. In Web 2, everything is about corporations. So the web today is basically owned by corporations, even the users, I would say, right? So what is Web3? Let me see if somebody guesses here. Who is going to be the boss in Web3? Individuals? Yes, definitely yes. I will go a bit farther. Maybe somebody has an idea. I would say communities, because it's individuals who can now coordinate globally at scale thanks to these new technologies, right? So it's still individuals, but united this time, not divided anymore, right? And the last aspect about the big differences in the three eras is that at Web 1, there was no login. If you remember Google at the beginning, there was no account. You would search for stuff. Nothing was connected to you. There was no login. Yeah, of course, there was tracking the IP and stuff, but you didn't have a persistent persona. You would just go, read stuff like you read a newspaper. The newspaper is not looking back at you. So it's like a one-way iteration. Web 2, login and password. Okay. Google gives you an account. Everything is going to be stored there. It's going to remember about you, give you a better service. You now have an account in Google. You now have an account in Booking.com, Expedia, Airbnb, whatever. Web 3 is giving the same persistence like you have your account, but it's not login and password anymore. It's a wallet login. This may seem a very small difference. Like, okay, I'm going to connect not with login and password, but with a wallet. Maybe login and password is even easier. What's the point? Actually, this changes everything, because login and password is where is the login and where is the password stored. It's stored in the company's website. So my Booking.com account, my login and my password are in their account, in their servers. If they decide that they don't want me anymore, or let's say YouTube, which is more common, like they say, okay, your account is disabled, they simply close access. So my account is in their servers, which means it's not really my account. It's like a permission they give me to stay with them for a while. Wallet login is private key, public key. It's like login and password, just extra simplifying this thing. But where are the private and the public key? Not in the server. They are in my device. They are in my laptop, in my hardware wallet, in my smartphone. So if I have access to a Web3 website, the Web3 website cannot say you can't log in anymore, and I'm going to take everything away from you. If Airbnb decides that you have to be deplatformed for any reason, you lose everything. Your account, your listings, your reviews, which you worked years to get, and you're basically homeless. It's like, again, let me go back to the metaphor of the feudalism. It's like the king or the lord kicks you out from the land, and then you are roaming the streets and asking for money. This cannot happen in Web3, because when you connect to a Web3 website, you are giving them permission to use your account. Okay, let's say you connect to Uniswap, which is or OpenSea, which is an NFT marketplace. You're not asking them, please give me login and password, please remember me, please. You tell them, okay, I let you connect to my wallet, see what I have inside, how many ETH I have, how many NFTs I have, and you just click a button, you are logged in. If OpenSea shuts down tomorrow, you don't lose your NFTs. They're never hosted in OpenSea. So your digital assets are with you. Your wealth is with you. Your persona is with you. They are very thin front ends, while the Web2 corporations are everything, right? Is it clear as an explanation, all right? So why does it make sense for travel? Well, we could have a long discussion about that. The general idea is that we are taking back control of our wealth, digital assets, personas, reviews, everything in this new internet. And this also completely changes the business models, right? They won't be able to charge 15% commission for a booking anymore. I can imagine 10 years from now, you're gonna tell your kids to make a booking in Barcelona, I paid, I don't know, 500 euros, of which 70, 80 euros were for the booking. And they're gonna be like, why do you pay all that money to the platform? Well, that was the price. And it's gonna sound like when today we tell younger kids that we used to call international calls for $5 a minute. Why did you pay $5 a minute? Well, because everything was controlled by telecoms. Then the internet came, decentralized everything, and now we have video calls for free, right? This kind of switch is going to happen. So in Web3, my account is my account, and I connect to it my listings, my bookings, my followers, my reviews, and many other things, okay? And then those connect to the apps, but these are with me from the beginning to the end. I can't lose them. Well, I can if I lose my private key, and that's a whole other subject, which is actually very critical. I become responsible for digital assets, okay? But nobody can take them away from me. Last thing, and then we're gonna go on with the speakers. You've heard, of course, about decentralization. It's a big word in Web3, in crypto, decentralization here, against centralization there, etc. But what is decentralization? Well, decentralization is something really expensive. It's not like decentralized is better. Decentralized is worse in terms of how things can be done, right? Decentralization is like an insurance. You pay for it. You don't want to pay for it, but if something goes bad, well, I'm insured, right? Let's see a bit more. Like centralized is like you have to trust the brands, okay? I trust a centralized brand. Like let's go back to Airbnb. They're very good. They're gonna make the bookings easy, etc., etc. And in decentralized systems, you will not trust the brand. You will trust the network and the code. What do I mean by that? Like, a brand is like a black box which says, we are giving you a good service, and after a while, you start trusting them. Decentralized systems, you can see exactly what happens in the code. They don't need, a decentralized system doesn't need to convince you that it's gonna be good, because you can see it in the code that it cannot be bad. I'm really extra simplifying. Apologies if this is too simple. It's kind of like, okay, banks is a good subject now. Like we trust banks. You get the money in the bank, right? And all they have to do is to go in very big, expensive buildings to transmit, say, like trust, right? And then you trust them because you go in the bank, everybody's well-dressed, the building is nice, they're rich, they're gonna keep my money safe, until they don't, right? But you have to trust them. It's not, you don't see how much money there is in the bank, like Silicon Valley Bank, right? The moment you hear that there's not enough money, you want to run back and get your money back. In a decentralized system, you see the money every single moment, every single second. There's no way for them to cheat you, right? So you don't need to trust the brand. You look at the code, okay? And when I say trust network, I mean not everybody's looking at the code. You're gonna look at somebody who knows the code and tells you this is safe, right? What I want to say, there's no better or worse in centralized or decentralized. Is a use case, is a personal choice, etc. But this is different. Now, centralized, when you build a centralized app, this is easy. You know, today is very easy to build a centralized app. A decentralized one is hard, okay? Centralized is cheap. It's very easy to launch a centralized app, very expensive to launch a decentralized one. Expensive at many levels. One level is at the blockchain level, right? A blockchain, as Pablo will tell you, is not an easy thing to run. You have to go from one database to many databases and many people involved, right? Centralized is fast. If I click a button on booking, after a second it's booked. Decentralized is slow, because if I have a blockchain-based booking system, sometimes it takes a few seconds or more steps. Now, the last thing, centralized is risky. Again, example of the banks, or your Airbnb account where you work for 10 years, you get 10,000 reviews, and tomorrow they shut it down because somebody woke up one morning, one of your guests woke up one morning and said, that's a camera. And you say, no, that's a CO2 detector. No, that's a camera. And Airbnb shuts down your account without recourse. So the king says, you're out. And you say, why don't you, go deep into the subject? I say, I don't care. I have enough hosts there. I don't want to spend money in checking every single claim. You're out. This happens, right? So that's the risk you are taking. Or I'm in Silicon Valley Bank, and my money is safe, and then it's not, right? So it's risky. Decentralized is safe. So we do it the hard, expensive, and slow thing because we want to be safe, okay? That's the reason we do decentralized, not because it's better. Now, for some apps, centralized is good. For some other apps, decentralized is better. For many, it's somewhere in the middle. That's the trick. In crypto, we started really ideological, saying everything has to be fully decentralized, okay? Which is great, but then you have to limit the things you can do if you want to go fully decentralized. As you slowly centralize, you can do more things. As the technology improves on that side, we can do more things in a decentralized manner, but everyone has to make his own choices here, okay? All right. We have a Telegram group. If you want to kind of synchronize, you can follow this one. If you have questions, whatever, I'll leave it for a few seconds. In the meantime, I'll give it a minute here. Maybe you have some questions or comments. Okay, it was a perfect presentation. Okay. All right. I'm done. I forgot to thank our sponsor. Where are you? Ah, there you go. There you go, Dream Ventures. Sam is our sponsor for the event. Thank you very much, Sam. So we have a few minutes for questions, maybe. Maybe we can start our discussion. We're trying to do this a bit interactive, so really feel free to, there you go. So Simone is going to take care of the microphone. Yeah.
So who will own the wallets? I know the individual or the collective community will own the wallets, but who will create the wallets?
You create your own wallet. Well, no, sorry. The wallet is an app, one of the there's many options. You download an app. The wallet creates for you private key, and the private key creates a certain number of public keys, right? And this is done through a mathematical operation. When you create a wallet on your phone, for instance, the wallet app doesn't know anything about this. Mm-hmm. They can't close it down. If you lose that app, or maybe the app closed down, you can migrate your wallet somewhere else with the private key. Okay. So you're completely in control. So
it's the same as crypto?
Oh yeah, sorry, I wasn't clear about that.
Yeah.
I was talking about crypto here. So crypto is like, cryptocurrencies are one application of the private public key system, mm-hmm. where, okay, I can get my Bitcoin on my wallet, but I can also have a wallet which represents my identity, where I have my NFT and where my reviews are connected to. Is the same technology exactly.
It's the same technology, yeah.
Yes,
okay, yeah.
With all its limits too, because there's limits, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like in terms of security, etc.
Yeah.
But yeah, same.
Okay. For me, it's quite a leap from the place where we are today, yes. in terms of who owns your listing, who owns your images, reviews, etc. Right. As you've detailed. How do you see this transition taking place?
We in the crypto industry have to make a big, step back and be a bit more humble, because the crypto industry is driven by technologists who go like, wallet, private key, public key, easy. Put them somewhere as a backup, mm-hmm. You're done. And it seems easy, right? And it's not. When you pass this to the general public, disasters happen. We realized that in the last bull run with NFTs, you got artists who got into crypto. they got a wallet, they got the monkeys, they got the millions, and they lost them because maybe they got a phishing message from Discord, right?
Yeah.
Because it's very easy to steal your money. It's very easy to steal everything. Now, worst case scenario, you have your, decentralized Airbnb, 1,000 reviews. This system cannot steal you anymore, cannot shut you down, but you can do it for them by losing their keys, or somebody takes your keys. So the attitude for a few years was like, they're gonna learn, because you can actually learn that, but. Yeah. And then we realized, no, they're not going to learn. They're going to get in because they have an incentive, maybe for those reasons, because it's easy to make money, etc. And then you're going to have people who lose everything with one click on some phishing email. How do we solve that? Well, we have to solve it from the industry. And the keyword for that is account abstraction, which basically means wallets which are safer.
Yeah, okay.
I'm oversimplifying. Like, if they get into your wallet, they cannot steal everything. They can steal your €100, but not everything. Today, they can steal everything. They can steal your house. Say NFTs representing houses. I hope this doesn't happen. If this happens, people are going to lose houses because they click on a link.
I guess it's the same as when the debit card or credit card was first invented. The risk was extremely high. People would lose a lot.
Yeah. So it is on us to make it easier. And as long as we don't make it easier, we can't really push to the general public solutions which replace a risk for another. We have to lower our risk. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Or the other way is to centralize. Okay, you're gonna keep your basically your keys for you, and then you're back to square one. Yes, Andrea.
Ciao Luca.
Ciao.
I attended the Binance meetup that has been in Rome this day. Yeah. And CZ, so the founder of Binance, said that in the future...
He was there?
No, by video connection. He thinks that in the future, there will remain only DEX. So we are talking about exchanges.
Right.
But he says that checks, so the company that provide this kind of service, it will be necessary right now because we are not completely ready for a decentralized, let's say, finance. So it will be the objective, it will be the future, but we are not ready right now. So my question to you is, assuming that it will be the same for us, so we need right now some kind of companies that works in this travel industry, but maybe the future will be a decentralized, let's say, travel industry. What do you think will be the timing, and in the future, if it will be necessary, some kind of, anyway, intermediate company or something like this?
It's
it
always
was a kind of reflex.
It's always hard to, timing, I won't even reply.
Timing,
I gave up on timing. I mean, we started this 6 years ago, still nothing.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
So timing is really hard because, exponential curves. If you get the timing, that would be great. You're just getting a moment before it goes up. So in terms of, will there be only the centralized, DEX is the centralized exchanges, as checks is like centralized exchanges like Binance. Who knows, right? I mean, the question is not most about if it's the website is centralized or not. It's like, who has control of the digital assets? If we find a way to make wallets safe, then we can decentralize. Okay? There's big advantages even in terms of exchanges to have decentralized systems, of course. So I don't know. That's my answer. But I really hope that we can make decentralized key management, decentralized wallets much safer and easier.